Hi everybody, my name is Siggy Flicker. My pronouns are Trump was right, Trump 2024. I identify as a gorgeous Israeli woman who's a legal immigrant who refuses to turn her back on the greatest country in the world.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rebecca Weber. This is your AMAC podcast, Better for America, and I am so excited about today's show. I am honored to have with us today a true patriot, Siggy Flicker. Now, for some of you who know that name, you'll remember that she was on a very popular reality TV series, The Real Housewives of New Jersey, and because she is an open supporter of President Trump, she received major backlash from the entertainment industry. Surprise, surprise. I don't think that that's anything that surprises many of us. But this backlash has continued throughout the media. And of course, we know that it's common practice for conservative supporters to be subject to things like shadow bans and censorship. But this lady, she did not back down. Siggy Flicker is truly the embodiment of free speech under fire. Now, after leaving the politics of New Jersey behind, Siggy now resides in Florida. She is a courageous and outspoken author, a speaker, and TV personality. Siggy Flicker, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Wow, thank you so much. And thank you for being a patriot and supporting the greatest country in the world. Thank you for that.
We love America. All of our AMACers listening, they absolutely love this country. And you are such a leading example of what happens when Americans finally say, enough is enough. You have been targeted. And this seems to have made you even stronger. So I do want to ask you to share your story with our listeners and your experience in the media.
Okay, well, I came to this country at the age of 5. I was born in Jerusalem, Israel. And my father ran the Righteous Gentile division at the Holocaust Institute there called Yad Vashem for over 24 years. I'm alive today because a priest during the Holocaust hid my father and his brothers and sisters and helped them escape from Evian, France into Switzerland. So coming to this country and having the opportunities here that America gave me, not Israel, America, I say now that I refuse to turn my back on the country that I love the most, the greatest country in the world. So being on TV for over 10 years, my career didn't start on Housewives. I had my own matchmaking show on VH1. I was on Wendy Williams for 4 straight years as a relationship expert. I was a very successful matchmaker in Manhattan and wrote a book, Rules of Love, and how, my mother raised me with a man needs to love a woman just a little bit more. And a man's rejection is God's protection. But I grew up in a very, very strong home where my parents taught me to know my worth, know my country's worth, and know my people's worth. So from the 10 years that I was on TV, I never had a problem until 2016 for the first time when I voted for a Republican by the name of Donald John Trump. And I never voted for Obama, so I didn't vote for those 2 elections, but I was always a Democrat. Immigrants who come here were Democrats. And then I saw Donald John Trump, and my husband really educated me on politics and America and the history of America, because I knew from my father the history of the world and the Holocaust and Israel and all that. But I have to say, being shadow banned and silenced and has made me so proud, so loud. I'm smiling from ear to ear because I've had the opportunity to be with Donald Trump over a dozen times because my girlfriend is his attorney, Alina Haba. And about 3 weeks ago, I had dinner with the president in Bedminster. And God, do I love this man. You see me starting to smile, and I love his whole family. I love everything he stands for, because there's one thing that's standing between tyranny and the Constitution, and that's Donald Trump. He loves this country. He loves we the people. And I turned around and said to the president, I said, Mr. President, with all due respect, I don't believe that you're still not the president. And he goes, Siggy, tell me about it. And I said, well, first of all, and he goes, well, let me just tell you, first of all, you were very, very much loved on TV. I said, yes, everything went great. Now, how ironic is it? And I said this to the president, that in 2016, 2017, when I retired, when I pulled away from Housewives of New Jersey, my resignation letter that my attorney submitted had selective editing and false narratives in the letter. Because what your viewers and people out there need to understand is when you're watching reality TV, there's nothing real about it. There's nothing real about it. You're not watching something flowing and it's real. You're watching something where the producers are whispering in people's ears and they are leading the conversation and what's to be brought up to get reactions from other people who are sitting there. Nobody wants to watch 5 women sitting around the table saying, I love you, you're so pretty. I love you, you're so pretty. What they want is drama. That's what sells. When they found out that I voted for Donald John Trump, when I tell you that the back of the house came after me 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 5 months. And how they did that was they pushed me and pushed me and pushed me and had the other girls whispering, say this to her. And finally, when I said, you know what, stop it already. That's what you saw on TV. You just saw us ordering cheese fries and me saying, stop it already. But you didn't see what led me to become so irate, to start crying. No one saw that. That's called selective editing. When I said that to the president, he said, welcome to my world. That's exactly what they do to the president, except for I, Siggy Flicker, signed up for reality TV. Don't ask me why. My husband said, Siggy, you're out of there. And I said, I understand. I thought I could make Jersey great again. They don't want Jersey to be great again. They want to stay in the swamp. It's great. But the president did not, when he came down that escalator with our beautiful first lady, who is, by the way, in person, the most stunning, elegant first lady I'm afraid to blink because that's how I say to her, you're so elegant and beautiful. God bless Melania and Donald and the President Trump. But that's exactly what they did and they continue to do to the president and his family. They take everything he says, and CNN and ABC and even Fox, I don't trust any of them. They will take a little version of what he says to create a false narrative, to get people to not like him. And now, until November, it's going to get a lot worse.
Yeah, the left has had, this approach. It's rule or ruin. If they can't rule their way, they want to ruin America for the rest of us. And I often say that if they don't like what you're saying, it's probably because they think that what you're saying is a threat to their rule or ruin approach. And clearly the left is threatened by everything that you've done. You were shadow banned. You were censored from all sorts of media platforms. And it seems like you really are dealing with this. It didn't discourage you, that's for sure. It inspired you to do more. And Siggy, you said, God knows why I entered into reality TV. Well, I think that it's for this very reason. It brought you right here where you are today. Amen.
It's all about God. And on the show, they said, you better back down, and said you made a mistake. I said, absolutely not. I stand with Donald Trump. I'm resigning for the show. And listen, I understand that in my situation, I really don't need the fame and I really don't need the money. So it was very easy for me to walk away. I have a lot of A-list celebrities. I'm not talking about B, C, D, E, and F. Sure. They all voted for Trump. And they have to be quiet. Why? They have to put food on the table. They have to pay their rent. And I say, I completely understand.
Right.
But when I say we are the majority, 90% of this country is going in November and voting MAGA.
Yeah.
And when I say 90, we are the majority.
We are the majority. There's a very loud minority that's taking over, and we see it. And that's really why we formed AMAC. We formed AMAC. And the reason why we do this show, Siggy, is you are better for America. People like you are better for America because you're not backing down. You're standing up and you're digging your heels in and you're saying, no, America is the best nation in the world. And you're doing that for the future generations, for our children, our grandchildren, for our loved ones. And if we don't speak up, and this you get, if we don't speak up, who will? Who will?
You just said it. I said, I don't need to do this. I could be out on the boat with my husband and enjoying my life. I have 4 children, the future generation. And I was just invited because now I'm the spokesperson for a wonderful organization, JEXIT, Jews exiting the Democrat Party. And even the president said, Siggy, 73% of Jewish people voted for Biden. What's
Yeah.
going on there? After all President Trump did for the Jewish people, I said, well, shame on them, but they will not disappoint you again, Mr. President. So JEXIT has been so instrumental in educating the Jewish population and the Jewish people to say, listen, the Democrat Party is no longer the party of JFK.
That's
This
exactly
is
right.
an evil party who does not love America. They want to destroy America from within. And people like me who are out there speaking the truth, they want to silence me because Donald Trump went against the establishment. He couldn't be bought. He can't be sold. He knows what they've been doing for years and years and years, and he's exposing them. So right now we're in part of the Great Awakening. And when I said this to America, to the president, you have woken up the American people to say, hey, I used to trust my government, but now I'm questioning it. Now I'm looking at the government with different eyes, with different sunglasses. Now I see exactly what they're doing. When Joe Biden is going to our enemies and begging them for oil, when we have oil, we have gold underneath American soil. That says, when gas was $2 and now it's $5, you're waking up part of the country that's, wait a second, when your stock portfolio is down 40%, other people are like, listen, I was going to go to Greece this summer. I can't afford it now. The world is they're coming up from a nap.
Well, I think they're afraid too, Siggy. I think that the left is really afraid because, and this is why I think that they've invaded Trump's home. We saw that the FBI agents basically just went in, can you imagine? This is a former president who has been cooperative. Their desperation and willingness to play dirty in order to get their way is unbelievable. How do you think that this unjust raid will impact the way our country views the left's integrity and even the Department of Justice, who inevitably signed off on this invasion of our former president's home? What are your thoughts? How do you think the American public will see this?
Well, you see, I always take a negative and turn it into a positive. This is working to benefit Donald Trump. Once again, they keep on throwing slings and arrows at him, and he keeps on dodging bullets. You know why? Because he's a genius. He crosses his T's, he dots his I's. There's nothing on him. They've got nothing on him. And the American people are saying, wait a second. If the FBI can do this to a former president, when you've got Hunter Biden laptop, you have the Russian collusion, you've got hoax number 1, hoax number 2, and all of them are just walking around. Hunter Biden is vacationing now in Kiwa Island with his family. No, there's been no investigation on any of them, but you're going to take the greatest president in the history of America, who stands up for we the people and defending the Constitution and protecting the Republic, and you are going to go, and he doesn't even live there now. He's in Bedminster. You think the president would leave boxes full of things in the basement, or his safe would have anything in it? It is a disgrace.
This was a show. It was a disgrace. It will backfire on them. There is no question in my mind. But here's our concern here at AMAC, and this is why we have the AMAC News app, and this is why we do the show, and why we invest so much into our content, our news and opinion analysis division. It's because the major media is out to silence your voice, our voice of over 2 million members, and they've got control of major media. They control the media. And so when they do that, average people who are not tuned in, they're too busy holding down 2 or 3 jobs, they're raising a family, they're seeing these sound bites, they're hearing what's going on, but they're not getting the full story. And of course, if you fly in a plane, any airport in the United States is going to play CNN. They won't have Fox News or Newsmax or OAN or any of the other America's Real Voice, any of the other stations that are really stepping up to bring the conservative, voice and the truth to Americans. So many of AMAC members and our conservatives nationwide, they feel the need to speak up and to point out about how wrong the left is. They're suppressing parents. They're suppressing our free speech, our freedom of worship, our freedom from government overreach, taking away our Second Amendment right, attempts to take away our Second Amendment right. We need to remind one another that America is still the greatest nation on earth. You were born and raised in Israel. Can you share with our listeners why you view America as the greatest nation on the planet?
America is 100% the greatest country in the world because we have something called the Constitution. And the Constitution allows anybody from anywhere in the world, wherever you come, if you walk a straight line, you can obtain the American dream. It's called work hard, walk a straight line, and all you have to do is have God in your heart. Here I am in America. I am telling you, I have obtained the American dream. Because I was in America, I was able to go to college. I was able to write down all my goals on a piece of paper. And really, it started out with Ralph Lauren at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. I wanted a piece of that American dream by buying a t-shirt with a little American flag on it. And I was able to do that, where I just met Ralph Lipschitz, and said, because of you, you gave me the vision that I can have the American dream only in America. Because of the Constitution. It doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, how much money you have in the bank. You can obtain the American dream if you work hard and walk that straight line. So now that I have the American dream, I obtained it. Who am I to turn my back on the greatest country in the world when that country gave me everything that I have today? That gives me my passion. I've never been so proud to do what I'm doing now. And how we stop it is, how every American that's been silent stops is you go out and you vote. When we overwhelm the voting, and we will be taking back the House and the Senate in November, but local impact equates to national impact. All those mama bears who are now getting involved on the school boards. In the last 2-3 years, what happened was Republicans came out and conservatives came out and said, wait, I got to get involved. Because when you turn your back and you let the tyrants get involved, look what's happening. They're trying to teach our kids at the age of a 3-year-old, gender and pronouns. They want Barney and Elmo. What are you doing to our children? But now that we're involved on the local level, it's going to have a national impact. And we are winning. And we are winning. I want to give hope to everybody out there. In November, what you need to do is you need to go out there and vote. 100 million I always say this wrong. 100 million I'm not going to say it. There's 100 million evangelical Christians who are mobilized now to get out there and vote. Why? Because making Judeo-Christian values is so important.
That's what this nation was founded on. Our nation was founded on Judeo-Christian values, and there should be no shame in saying that we love this country, that we pray for this country. AMAC stands for faith, family, and freedom, and faith is so important. Personally, Siggy, you're speaking personally, and I appreciate that you're sharing your story, because every listener out there understands that each one of us walks through difficult times in life. God gives each and every one of us gifts. You're using your gift. You're an example of what it means to take the gifts that God gave you. You're beautiful. You know how to speak and deliver the truth. You're courageous. And I hope that we see more of you. Tell us what you're doing. How are you really strengthening your voice? And what does your future look like after having left Housewives of New Jersey?
Oh, my future is so much brighter, because now what I'm doing is I go out there and I speak on behalf of Donald John Trump. I was just invited last week to be a surrogate at Turning Point USA for the president. I went out there and just speaking to the young leaders of America, the next generation. Oh, they're beautiful. They're brilliant. They're enthusiastic. They're awake. They're awake to what's going on.
They sure are. Isn't that inspiring? It's so inspiring that you're getting the younger generation engaged, and that's what we here too are looking always to engage with those folks, all Americans. You don't have to be over 50 to join AMAC. We are an organization that supports all Americans. Very interesting to see what will happen. I'm prayerful that in November we're going to see a big red wave come in. We've got our latest magazine hitting mailboxes this week, and I predict a red wave in November. We are working hard on the election integrity front, because that is an area where we must get our elections cleaned up, voter rolls cleaned up. We've got to make sure that everyone who's voting is legally registered to vote, and that they're not double voting, because who wants voter fraud? Only those who want to cheat, and steal. We know
Yeah,
that.
only those who want open borders. I'm also working with Tom Holman. JEXIT is working with Tom Holman on the border issue. We're having an event at Mar-a-Lago on November 1st. Our last event, the president was there, and we have enough fentanyl coming into this country now to kill every single American
We
citizen.
do. This is
We have a
serious.
crisis
I mean,
on our border. So instead of hiring
yeah,
87,000 IRS agents, they should be hiring 87,000 Border Patrol agents.
that's
We have a
exactly
serious
right.
crisis, and this resident who is occupying the White House right now is doing everything that is anti-American. And that's why I'm so grateful. And when my mother took a picture with the president 2 weeks ago, she said, "Mr. President, I legal immigrant from Israel. I love you very much. You the best of the best." And
Isn't that beautiful?
yes, and I'm telling it was beautiful to see, blacks for Trump, Jews for Trump, gays for Trump there.
Hispanics for Trump in a big way.
Hispanics
Yes.
are a big way because the Latino communities have experienced, or they know somebody who's experienced socialism and communism. You're not going to fool them. 56.3 million Latinos in America, and the
Yeah.
majority of them are not going to vote for communism and socialism. We're taking over, even if, and trust me, the left has been cheating for years. You're going to find out soon. They've been cheating, not just for the last the only way they win is by stealing and cheating. So
Yeah.
you're going to see it's going to get rough before November. I don't want to give you unrealistic expectations, but
We have a
we're
lot
gonna
of work to
also-
do. We have a lot of work to do because we've got to make sure that people are getting this message, Siggy, because we know that mainstream wants to tell them everything different. We're working hard. AMAC members voted Donald J. Trump as their man of the year, and that was in 2020. AMAC members are really rooting for Donald J. Trump. And while AMAC we are a bipartisan organization working on issues that impact all Americans, we have always loved his policies. Donald Trump has had wonderful policies. We view him as a very strong president. Do you think he'll run again? Do you think that we'll see him in 20? You do. Okay, so maybe you know something that we haven't officially heard yet.
Chosen by God for such a time like this. There is nobody out there that could do a better job. And I know a lot of people talk about DeSantis is a wonderful governor. He needs to stay in Florida for another 4 years. We need him in Florida. I love Governor DeSantis.
You never know. Maybe DeSantis will run and choose Trump to be his VP. Or maybe Trump will run and choose DeSantis. This is so exciting. We have a lot to look forward to. So much good stuff on the horizon. I love your positivity, your outlook. This ought to really excite people, but also get people to understand. Look, I just want to really emphasize a few things that you said. It's serious stuff, folks, for everyone listening. When we think about our little children being subjected to, they're being sexualized in preschool and kindergarten, just look at the books that they're being read. When we hear about groups whose sole purpose is to remove the flag from classrooms, to remove God from America. And when we see what's happening, that people who are coming over illegally, that gangs are running, they're essentially running the southern border, and they have more priority than a tax-paying, law-abiding American citizen does. This is the time, if there was ever a time for people to roll up their sleeves and get involved, and this is why AMAC is so instrumental. For $16 a year, you're getting news, you're getting a print magazine, you're getting you have a way to become involved in your community. Siggy, I want to thank you so much. I am so grateful to have had you on this show because your insights, both big and small, are so important. And we're benefiting from your courage and your thoughtfulness and willingness to speak up. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do too. Thank you. God bless
I'd like
America.
to have you back again because you are doing so much work. We'd love to have you back after the November midterms. You're a friend of AMAC, so I want to thank you so much for this. And for all of you out there listening, thank you for tuning in. If you're not getting your political news from AMAC, then you're probably not informed about American politics. So go ahead and download the AMAC News app today. You can watch this show and track breaking news right there on your phone. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share wherever you are on social media. Until next time, I'm Rebecca Weber. This is your podcast, Better for America. God bless you all, and thank you for being here.